With the warm weather rolling in, so too has the high school spring sports schedules. And when you're in the month of April, you always picture the beginning of baseball season. And as for what's happening on the high school diamonds in the city, many teams will be looking to improve upon the modest records that they posted last year, including the West Roxbury Raiders. Westies scored a big win on the road at Brighton on Tuesday and came home on Thursday to take on the South Boston Knights. Let's head to West Roxbury for this one. The AC Westie looking to start the season at 2-0, and they came out scoring in the first. Bottom of the first, 2 men on. Brian Navarro doubles there to left, and he tacks on 2 runs coming to score here for West Roxbury. They go up 2-0 there early on. They would tack on 12 more runs in the first inning, 14-0 after 1 for Westie. Bottom of the second, Sean Haas slaps it to center field. That's an RBI single for Sean as Westie goes up 15-0 there in the second inning. Third inning now. Westie just all over it. Jan Payera pokes this one to left. 2 more runs coming to score for the Raiders. They go on to win huge 25-0 over South Boston. Let's take a look at the rest of the scores for you from last week. Latin Academy takes down O'Brien 10-5. Madison edges out Somerville 10-6 there on Thursday. Also on Thursday, Dorchester outscores Charlestown 16-7, and Snowden outpaces Jeremiah Burke 19-17. Big scoring game right there for Snowden. Then on Friday, Arlington Catholic takes down Brighton 16-4, while Fenway squeezes by Southie in a close one, 10-9. Let's now get some of the softball scores for you from last week. Jeremiah Burke putting it to Fenway 22-4, and then Boston Latin taking down Latin Academy 4-0 there in softball. So some big baseball and softball scores from last week, but it's still very early, so we'll see which teams can rebound from a tough first week of the season. Now, despite today being opening day, there was a lot of excitement at Fenway Park on Saturday when young athletes from all across the city were able to attend the 17th annual Breakfast for Champions, hosted by the Boston Centers for Youth and Families.
Welcome everybody to the 17th annual Breakfast of Champions.
Over 300 young Boston athletes gathered at the State Street Pavilion in Fenway Park for the 2013 Breakfast for Champions, an event honoring the winners of last year's games, competitions, and tournaments hosted by the Boston Centers for Youth and Families.
This is an annual event that we host here in the city of Boston. This is the 17th time we've hosted this event, and Boston Centers for Youth and Families hosts citywide tournaments, leagues, programs, events, clinics, all throughout the year. And what we do is we invite all of the winners of those respective competitions and tournaments to join us for this breakfast.
Along with being honored for their achievements, these young champions were able to listen to a panel of special guest athletes tell their stories of on-field success.
They're used to so much of what they see on television. They sort of, I think fantasize about those highlight dunks and highlight reel performances that you see on TV. But I don't think they quite realize the amount of work that goes into it.
Being back in Boston, I know that the kids look up to all the great athletes that have come out of the professional teams here in Boston, and I just admire that strong athletic history here.
I love the kids, I've been hearing about it for years, and just with the work that BCYF does, I really believe in it. I know the mayor believes in it, and giving them opportunities that a lot of them otherwise wouldn't have is pretty spectacular. So if we can give back, that's awesome.
The city's youth were also able to ask the panel questions about their journey to becoming a champion on and off the field.
The questions from the kids are always so much fun. Someone asked me if I wore shoes. Someone asked me if I threw anything other than a hammer. So it's actually kind of cool to see them and how they're thinking and how they're processing what's happening.
The thing that this program teaches, not just athletics, it's also education, and it's the message that they get from the great panel that we had today, and let them hear from people who have been successful, and something for them to aspire to.
We didn't really have access to these opportunities. That's why I think this is so important. Gives kids balance in the field and also in the classroom, and I think the skills are so transferable. We see it now when we're adults, but starting them out young is really helpful.
Of course, for these youngsters, the most exciting part of the day was getting autographs and speaking one-on-one with these former champions, creating memories for years to come.
The very up-close and personal interaction is huge because they realize, wow, this person who's an Olympic gold medalist was just like me. She was 6, 7 years old and just like this program and just worked really hard. And just to hear that story, which you don't often hear on television, I think it's a very meaningful impact for the young people that come here.
The excitement in the kids' eyes as they got to win a raffle prize or get to ask a question, and it's just a great atmosphere for the kids and for the parents, to bring them here at Fenway Park.
Boy, just a spectacular event as always. Lots of smiling faces there at Fenway Park. That's going to do it for sports this week. Make sure you come right back here next week for more on Boston Neighborhood Sports.